Honestly, a few years ago, I would have laughed at the thought of buying a Sigma Art lens. But recently, Sigma has stepped up their game, and for $500 less than the Canon alternative, it begs the question, is this one of the best 85mm out there? Let's dive into it, but first, roll intro. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who do not know who I am, my name is Sydney Baker Green. I'm an international photographer, content creator, and cinematographer, and I finally, after a year of using the Sigma Art 85 1.4, get to bring you guys my review of the lens. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I would have scoffed at the idea of buying a Sigma Art lens, you know, about 4, 5, 6 years ago. Now, that's just because Sigma had a bad reputation in my mind. As a matter of fact, even though I believe their art series was out at the time, I was all about the Canon Red Ring. But I was looking for an 85 and I heard that 85 1.2, which is a killer lens, is super slow. And if you guys don't know what I do, my primary work in photography is wedding and portraits. And if I'm traveling across the globe for a wedding, I cannot afford a slow lens. So when it came time for me to upgrade my arsenal and actually buy some more prime lenses and start renting them, I fell in love with the Sigma Art 85. Now, before we get into the pros and cons of this video, I wanna be straight up with you and let you know off the bat, if you are somebody who shoots a video and you're here to know about this lens and you cannot do without image stabilization because you like to hand shoot, this lens is not gonna be for you. Unless you have like a steady hand of Superman, then you're just not gonna be able to get away without having the image stabilization at a focal length like 85. Now, if you're somebody who does photo and video and you can do without image stabilization, or image stabilization really isn't a problem because you have a stabilization system for your video, then this lens is gonna be for you. And if you're not sure about any lens to buy, my photo advice to you is always rent the gear. Just rent the gear for a few days, rent the gear for a shoot, try it out, see how it works for you. That's gonna be the only way. Don't listen to me. I can't tell you what works for you when it comes to should you buy it or should you not. That's up for you to decide. And I think it's a great exercise as a photographer because that is what's gonna help us build our own, confidence, strength, and individuality. That being said, go rent. That's all I gotta say. Now, you guys are probably here for the pros and cons of the lens, so let's go ahead and do this a little bit untraditionally, and I'm gonna start with the bad things. Now, honestly, this lens only really suffers from the common plagues that any 85mm suffers from. It's not the most versatile lens, being at 85 a super tight focal length. So when you're using this 85, you're really gonna wanna make sure that you have a lot of room to move around. I like to put a lot of distance between my subject, but I also like to be able to get up close and really get that nice background compression and let the 1.4 aperture of this lens shine. Another problem you're gonna find in this lens, and this really matters if you're in super low light scenarios and you're in a video scenario, is that this lens is not image stabilized. And of course, its Canon counterpart for $500 more is image stabilized, but that begs the question, is $500 worth the image stabilization, or would you rather put that money to a stabilization system if you're using it for video? Now, of course, that's not gonna work out in a photo scenario, but to be honest, those are really the only complaints that I have about this lens, is that sometimes it's too tight and that it would be nice to be able to hand shoot with it because there's no image stabilization, but using the Ronin S, that has virtually solved my problem. Now into the pros. Now, the one thing that I love about this lens compared to many other Sigma Art lenses is the fact that it has a weather sealed gasket. Now, I don't know if that's gonna focus in for you guys. I'm gonna try, but there's a little rubber gasket right here, which is why this is honestly one of my favorite lenses to shoot with in the rain. Apart from it being weather sealed, one of the pros is its 1.4 aperture. Now, this is nothing revolutionary. We've seen 85mm at 1.2, but it's super slow and it sounds like the nifty 50 with that rotary motor. But there's just something about the optics of this lens that blows me away. Each and every shot, especially if you get something between the foreground, really just creates such an interesting composition. And also being at 85 at 1.4 and focusing on those editorial shots where you get that nice compression and you want your models to just look stunning, it works in any situation for portraiture as long as you have the room for it. It doesn't matter if you're trying to do a full body shot or you're trying to do a close-up on your model and really get that expression, that moodiness, and convey that emotion in your photo, it's gonna work across the board. Another pro of this lens is the sharpness. Now I haven't used the Canon 85 at 1.2 or 1.4, but I do know that the Canon 85 at 1.2 basically cannot be used wide open at 1.2 if you want a sharp image. If you're going for that 1.2, you're going for that nice background. And I can't speak for the Canon 85 1.4, but I can tell you, using the Sigma Art 1.4, I feel so comfortable using this lens at 1.4. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever stopped it up to 1.6 or 1.8 like I do a lot of my lenses. And this is something that I've seen consistent that Sigma has pushed out across their Sigma Art line. Their 35 1.4, I use it wide open without a problem. Same with the 50, because I own that lens too. And the 85, I shoot comfortably wide open with all of these lenses, and I think that's important. We've been taught in the photo industry to always stop your lenses up to find that sweet spot just a little bit, but I have not had to do that with these lenses, and that is what has made me move from using Canon L series lenses to using Sigma Art lenses. Now I do know we have the new RF line out, can't speak on that because I have an EF mount and I don't need to go there yet. But the only Canon L lenses that I own are going to be the 16-35 f2.8 Mark III L, and I also have the 70-200 f2.8L Mark I. I only use the 16-35 for video and I'm always at 2.8, so can't speak on that. And of course the 70-200 is just a beast across the board. Can't even compare with that. But I choose to use my 85 1.4 if I'm going for that look. But if I'm not going for 200 millimeters, the 70-200 stays in my bag, and the 85 1.4 is what I'm going to be using to get those editorial shots. And this lens has not failed me once. I will say this is more of a lens for portrait work. Now, guys, for my final thoughts, if you want my honest opinion on this lens, I've been using it more than my 50 and my 35. Now, I do use those lenses for certain things and certain photos that I really like. I think they're more of the popular photos because we're really in this, lifestyle world of using a 35 millimeter. But to be honest, my 50 and my 85 have been my go-to, and my 85 stayed on my lens the majority of the shoot. Especially since it's weather sealed, I find myself out in inclement conditions all the time, so it just works out. If I'm not going for 200 millimeters, I'm not gonna use my 70-200. So this lens is honestly just a go-to all-around beast, and I can't say anything else great about it. I think Sigma's really killing the game, and I think Canon really is gonna have to step it up. I haven't used their RF line, and I know they're doing some amazing things, but the price points on those lenses, for only 900 bucks, this was a no-brainer for me. And it's L series quality, I don't need a red ring, I need performance, and that's how we should all be. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I really wanted to do this review for a while. I hope it was informative. Like I said, all those links are in the description down below for you to find out the sample photos and stuff like that. Let me know what you think, and yeah. If you guys like this video, be sure to give me a big thumbs up. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you can always be updated when I come out with my latest videos. Be sure to follow me on my social media. The links are in the description down below. And be sure to follow the YouTube fam on their YouTube channels. Subscribe to them. Links are in the description down below as well. If you are ever feeling uninspired, want to give up on photography, or just downright don't know what you're doing with your life, remember folks, every day airplanes take off against the wind. Live, love, laugh, stay inspired, and as always, stay fabulous. Again, my name is Sydney. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, folks.